Rob, do you know what you can look forward to another year of?
What's that?
The Wheats. This is Cory, and this is the Anthem podcast.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's Rob. Now, for those of you who are unenlightened, who didn't get to go to a baseball game with us, that is the cheer that Cory did not successfully spread around the ballpark.
Well, it will now, because I've said it on the podcast. So now everyone knows for next year.
Are literally 100 of fans.
What I plan on doing is when Weeders comes up, just like everybody in the stadium just together just goes, the Wheats.
Well, no,
it's
important that we get silent. Silent first.
Yeah,
so
silence.
The ballpark is silent.
And then just like a slow building, like, wheat, 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 wheat. It'll totally take the other team out of the game.
Now, and I would say that it would be disturbing if you're the other
team.
Yeah.
And you heard just like
whispering.
40,000 people just like, wheat, wheat, wheat. There's almost a horror movie element to it, which I like.
It's so weird that we went from baseball Jesus 3-4 years ago to wheat. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Anthem podcast. We are again, of course, live from the Anthem studios deep below the earth in Parkville, Maryland. Please make sure you check out otheanthem.com. Like and follow the Mobby-nominated O The Anthem pages on Twitter and Instagram. And make sure you check out otheanthem.com. We're up to 154, maybe 155 likes on the Facebook page.
161.
Oh, my God. Well, it just blew up during the Mobby time. So join the crowd. Come and check out the O The Anthem page. Be number 162 on the O The Anthem page on Facebook. Make sure you check out wherever you find us, whether it's Stitcher, Dogcatcher, iTunes. Make sure you like and subscribe there so that you get the newest episodes right in your inbox. And while you're there, give us a rating and a review. 5 stars. We're a 5-star podcast. We need a 5-star rating and a review to let us know what you like, what you don't like, and to let other people know. And, of course, the greatest compliment we can have is when you tell a friend.
Yeah.
And I got to say, I heard an interesting story. You know, our 3 favorite fans, well, I don't know about yours, my 3 favorite friends, my 3 favorite fans, Carla, Katie, and Olivia. I dropped off a little special gift to them this week. And they were so excited about it. I got separate Facebook messages from all of them saying thank you. I forwarded you the pictures.
Yeah.
And we got to make sure we get that picture from their mom and put it on the Anthem page.
Yeah.
But Olivia wore her O The Anthem pendant to school for the last 2 days of the week.
Nice.
And I'm hoping that we are spreading a little population in the educating the kids there in Queen Anne's County.
Well, if we're anything, we're educational.
I think that's absolutely... We are a cautionary tale, if you will.
Yeah.
So, this is what not to be when you grow up, children.
Listen, if you go to some college or you go to graduate school, then this might be what happens to you. So.
You'll end up in a basement recording a podcast. But, so as always, we love and appreciate all of our listeners. Thank you so much. And a special thank you for everyone who took the extra time to go to the Mobby's voting page on Baltimore Sun.
Yeah, and you know what? I was there was a part of me with the Mobbies that I was a little worried about.
Yeah.
If I'll be honest.
Okay.
There's a little bit of a worry, I think, anytime you ask people to do something, even if it's fairly benign.
Right.
Where,
takes a little extra step.
Yeah, but I mean, like you say to them, like, listen, this is a big deal. This could help us get out to other people. Obviously, we'd like to win some sort of award for our greatness.
Of course.
It always
to be recognized the way that we already recognize ourselves.
Yeah, it always fills the cockles of our heart.
Hey, now wait, we're in the middle school. Hang on.
Yeah.
Don't be throwing around words like cockles.
Let's not. We gotta beep that first part out now. God damn it. Now I said, God damn it, shit, fuck. Anywho,
there goes that explicit rating.
There's a part of me. We just talk every single time we talk about kids. I just immediately go into a stream of obscenities.
You and so my assistant, her last day was today.
Yeah,
and she said that she has a genetic condition in her brain that even if she doesn't know kids are around, for some reason she starts using profane language. And without fail, we were sitting celebrating before I came up here, her last day, and I noticed she started dropping the F-bomb more often. And then I turned around and I listened. the booth behind us had 2 kids in it. And I'm like, you didn't even know they were there, and you're cursing.
You're picking it up via osmosis.
Just didn't even know.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, go ahead.
But there's always the part where you're worried that, like, you're going to say to people, like, you know, like, please vote for us. It means the world. And then, you know, you get, like, messages where people go, like, you know, like, oh, I voted. Yeah, sure, I voted every day.
Yeah.
On all 19 computers that I own. I'm like, well, you don't have to do all that. And it's like, you know. Right. And then we get to the mobbies, and it's just like, you were voted for 5 times. And I'll be like...
Come on, people.
I thought I did it more than that.
Wait, that's voter fraud, because I voted every single day, so I know there was at least 7 votes.
Yeah. It's like, no, you voted for Glenn Clark Radio instead of... Like,
shit!
Yeah! Why did they keep switching where our location was? God damn it, I just get the first one every single time. I thought it was us.
Oh, gosh. But yeah,
well, there was a part of me that, like, it's just like... I didn't realize the first time I went there. I didn't realize that they were gonna like switch up the locations,
right?
And I went and I was just like, best podcast, oh, the Anthem, #1, like right up front. And I was just like, yes, we're in the pole position. Like, there's gonna be at least one person who's just like, I just came here to vote on food, and then it says like first one.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, we're just gonna get a shit ton of oh, the Anthem votes, and then the next time I went there, it was like we're
buried in
third from the bottom, and I'm just like, oh, all right, so it just switches it up. I guess they do it too so that people can't like set up scripts to
just select it as it is in there. That's what I thought.
Have like 30,000 computers in China voting for you every day.
I was a little worried because the first day we were on top, the next day we were close to the bottom, the third day we were at the bottom, and I'm like, this isn't going by your place currently, is it? We're not getting
going by the power rankings.
I hope this is not where we are. And then later on we were like second from the top, and then later on we were in the middle, and I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure it's just random. And then I did pull it up on my computer and my phone, and it was actually on the same day in 2 different positions. So it's completely just random, so you can't set up a script to do it.
But I'm so appreciative of everybody who like texted me and sent me messages on Facebook and stuff like that, going like, I've been voting.
And everybody who shared our post.
Yeah, that was super helpful. And you know, I what I like about it is that there was a ton of traffic from, you know, the Mobby site to Oh, the Anthem.
Right, yeah.
And it just, it you know, even if we don't win, which, you know, we should.
But it's our first year being nominated.
Yeah, who knows?
It's a pleasure to be nominated. It really is.
It's nice to know that there's people who are coming out and checking it out and seeing what's about. And that's the important part. Like, discovering new things is good.
Yeah.
So if you've never been here before, welcome. If you found us via Mobbies, you're the real hero.
And make sure you do check out the Oh, the Anthem Facebook page. I think we really should post a picture of our beautiful young listeners. And unfortunately, that's the only swag we have now. We are working on new swag.
Coming soon.
Yeah. Cory is going to crack open paint and come up with something fantastic. But I will say, if any of our listeners or viewers, or however it is you consume this podcast, have any skills with creative design, feel free to toss together your favorite quote, your favorite image, whatever it is. We had somebody working on it, but that was a fail. I'm looking at you, Flash. I'm just kidding. Totally kidding, Flash. I understand you're busy.
And she totally tweeted us earlier this week.
Yes, she did. I appreciate you, Flash. I understand. But no, if anybody
even if Rob doesn't like you, I like you. That's the...
Even if you anybody has any ideas, anything they want to put out there, they can email it to Cory@otheanthem.com, or you can tweet it at us. You can send it to the Facebook page. Anything.
Carrier pigeon it
to us right here at the beautiful Oh, the Anthem Studios.
Here's what you got to do. I don't know exactly how carrier pigeons work, but I imagine it's something like this. You got to give them a location. So you grab the bird. You put the little image in its leg. Right. And then you grab the bird close, and then you just say to it, tweet, and then release it, and it knows where to go.
That is nothing how it works. I apologize for Cory's ignorance as to how passenger pigeons actually work. Or carrier pigeons actually work. No, there's two nests and there's food, and you take the food away and it goes to the other place, and then you take the food away and it goes back and forth.
No.
Josh and Chuck did a great job of this on How Stuff Works podcast. You should check that out.
All right, so you don't actually tell the bird where to go.
No.
You don't just go like Harbor Place.
Although, wouldn't it be cool if you did? Maybe robotic carrier pigeons of the future.
Ooh, carrier pigeon drones.
Yeah. Speaking of awesome things that we would have if we didn't waste time killing each other.
Yeah.
Passenger pigeons that were robotic that would go where you told them to go. But instead, we have killing each other instead.
Yeah. So some of you saw the tweet on Friday here, right before we did the podcast. Yeah. The horrible terrorist attacks in Paris, and I would like to say, even though we don't know a whole lot about the situation because it's sort of happening in real time.
Yeah. I'm actually opening up right now.
Yeah, I would even if we find out that it was just a group of lunatics, French lunatics who decided to cause havoc in 3 different locations at the same time and not Muslims.
Well,
let's not
7 places.
Yeah, but I'm saying like let's not minimize the fact that this is terrorism regardless of who did it.
Right. But wait,
your name doesn't have to be Akbar for it to be terrorist.
And this is not America, okay? There's not just crazy people with guns running around. This is France. They're normal people. Come on now.
Well, they're not normal people. I shouldn't kick them while they're down.
Let's not make light either. I feel bad laughing about it. It's not good.
But is it up to 7 locations, by the way?
Yeah, they said confirmed 7. 7 different locations.
Yeah, so we had bombing at the stadium where the France-Germany game was happening.
Right. Apparently a friendly game. I didn't realize that, but friendly game.
And then there was a shooting at a restaurant. There was the hostage situation at the theater where Eagles of Death Metal were playing.
I'm trying to pull up the list. My computer sucks.
One moment, I guess, that did add a little brevity, I guess, to the situation is I was watching CNN, and Wolf Blitzer at one point said, the concert hall where Eagles of Dream Metal were playing. I was just like, you don't know music.
Listen, he listens to classical. He's not listening to any of that.
Yeah, I don't imagine Wolf Blitzer has a lot of Eagles of Death Metal on his iPod.
Probably not, yeah. Wait, the Eagles are playing somewhere? I didn't realize they played in France. You know, the Eagles.
Yeah. Hotel. I was trying to make some sort of Hotel California reference, but I just couldn't.
Not quick on his feet.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, the problem is you don't want to say something horribly offensive.
Hotel California? Well, okay, that song by itself is horribly offensive, so... See, there you go. That's being quick on your feet. Come on. That's why I'm both the looks and the charm of this podcast.
Meanwhile, I'm everything else. I'm etc. We don't know right now who's responsible. We might never really know.
Right. It seemed that
sometimes people take responsibility for it.
That's what I was going to say. Is that apparently some of the ISIS Twitter accounts were not really taking credit, but were rejoicing in it.
Yeah.
But a lot of times that's like, oh, something's happening. Let's glom on to that and say it's us.
If Al-Qaeda bombs America and then ISIS tweets like, yeah, death to America. Like,
right. Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily mean they had anything to do with it, but
But of course, here's the thing. The world the way that it is, everyone's automatically saying Islamic terrorism. That's what they're saying.
On Twitter, ISIS was trending.
Right. Again.
And it was just filled with, obviously this is not a defense of ISIS.
No.
Because...
Well, little disclaimer. Corey and I do not support ISIS, ISIL, or any of their other
or Al-Qaeda or anything else like that.
We are not supporters of terrorists. We do not support any of the radical Islamic movements. That being said.
And I don't think the spirit of the tweets were wrong, but there's something a little bit alarming about we have a tragic, horrible situation that's happening. The entire world is watching and trying its best to sort of rally its support around France.
Yeah.
And there's people who are getting on Twitter and going like, when are we just going to bomb these ISIS assholes into the Stone Age? It's just like, well, it's a little bit more complicated than that. It's not like they have a club headquarters
And to be fair,
that I have listed on Google Places that we just go to and bomb the shit out of them.
Weren't we just applauding? Weren't those same people applauding Putin 2 weeks ago because he was quote unquote doing that?
Yeah,
just bombing them into the Stone Age, and yet this is how terrorism works. This is how terrorist groups work. You snuff them out here. It's a great. What is that game with the whack-a-mole? It's whack-a-mole. Yeah. You knock them down here, and it pops up over there.
Right.
So,
well, I mean, part of what makes ISIS so terrifying is the fact that they're not like very well. There's not
no
like
central leadership.
Yeah, there's no central leadership, so it's just basically people going out and doing what they want to do on their own.
Yep.
So there's no way to like.
Al Qaeda was the same way. Is that it was directed, but it was like, hey, we want to attack America. Here's $1 million. Go figure out how to do some of that.
Yeah.
Now 9/11 was different. That was very orchestrated, but the bombing of the USS Cole that came about because they said, hey, we want something to happen in this part of Africa. Turned out it was Yemen, not Africa, but But here, go to the Horn of Africa and find a way to hurt the U.S. And what they found out was, hey, we could get right up next. These guys go up to the boats and they sell stuff. So let's just go up next to the boat and blow it up.
Yeah.
And now we have an attack. So,
what bothers me is that there's so much good in this world, mirrored by so much horrible, unacceptable tragedy.
Yeah.
And I mean, that obviously, that's not anything new. But
well, and I mean that depends on how you look at it, because it's on an individual level. There is still, I think that on the individual level, there is more of that than there has ever been before, because somebody in Europe in 1000 AD didn't give two shits about somebody in the Middle East in 1000 AD. Mm-hmm. And the internet and communication, for all its positive benefits, has also led to us hating people all across the world. And I think you said something earlier that was very apt about that. That, it's everybody's problems are worse than ours. Like, look at that guy over there.
Yeah, I mean, it's judging your neighbor, but not judging yourself.
Exactly, yeah.
We want to... Everybody seems to want to, pick on the Middle East because it's the biggest tire fire. But, in Asia, we have North Korea and Russia and China all doing various nonsense. We have... Yeah. Nowhere in the world is there a place where there's a utopia, where there's no problems and nothing.
Wait. We're in America. We have a utopia right here. If we can get rid of these
Everybody stay tuned.
Liberals.
We're going to be talking about Freddie Gray later in this podcast.
Well, okay. Well, I mean, South America, there's a kind of a utopia, right? They're all similarly religioned and
by the way, have you been watching Narcos on Netflix? It's pretty good.
I binged the shit out of that the first week it came out, actually. Yeah. Okay. Well, Europe is... Oh, wait. Never mind. Africa. I mean, Africa's been doing okay.
Yeah. They have great infrastructure and no apartheids. And...
Okay. South Asia is doing just fine.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you stay away from the DMZ and...
Okay. Well, the Caucasus, totally fine. See, got you there.
Yeah, well...
All one country. Booyah! See? Oh, wait, no. There's terrorism.
Yeah.
Yeah, wait, I was trying to think of the...
Oh, wait a minute. There's nothing going on in Antarctica.
Actually, not true. Because the countries are going down there and trying to claim oil rights and actually fighting each other over oil rights in the Antarctic, which, by the way, breaks all kinds of UN resolutions and international treaties about leaving Antarctica alone. Space, there's that. The moon's doing good. We're the only ones there.
No, I did read an interesting thing earlier where it's just like, imagine if China just sent up a spaceship to the moon, and then when they were up there, they took the American flag that Neil Armstrong planted and just threw it down and planted the China flag instead. And it's just like...
Finders keepers.
Nobody would go up there to fight that. And it's just like, bullshit, we won't. We will spend $100 trillion to send up a space crew just to plant a new flag.
Here's what I know.
All of a sudden, NASA's budget would explode.
If any American president wanted to do that, that is exactly what they do. We conspire.
If they want to put money in
NASA, you conspire with it and just have the Chinese. No, we can't use China. It would have to be someone crazy, like North Korea, where we could never confirm it.
Right.
Have North Koreans launch a rocket, and then we confirm that the rocket went off. We're like, we don't know where it's going. Oh no!
Just Photoshop an elaborate picture of like Kim Jong-un, like
kicking over the flag, planting a new one,
riding a horse.
Horse has got a helmet on. Oh, that would be great. Yeah, and they're like, oh no, this cannot stand. Fuck this shit. We're going back. Let's do it.
America does one thing right, and it's claiming space.
Or going for the first time, depending on how you... I mean, listen, we faked it once. We can fake it again and then go once for real.
All right. Back to serious issues, though. We try and add a little brevity. And we give you a little sugar. We give you a little salt.
Well, no, but here's what I'm going to say. I've been listening to this great podcast I was just telling you about, and I think everybody should listen to it. It's called The Black Tapes. Black Tapes. It's a docudrama. If you're just looking for entertainment, it's perfect. But one of the characters on it said something really great, which is we spend so much time, energy, and money on religion and hating and killing each other. If we could just use all of that time, energy, and money constructively, we would have figured out the answer to death, the answer to aging, and we'd be living on Mars by now. And I mean, that's just the truth of it. That if we just stopped killing and hating each other, we could work together and solve all of the problems of the world.
Well, I don't hate anybody. At least not to the point where I want to kill them.
Really?
No.
Nobody? So, if I had Jeffrey Mayer standing right behind this door...
Well... I kick him in the nuts like 300 or 400 times, but I wouldn't kill him.
Here in the trunk of my car, I have Jeffrey Mayer.
Hog-tied and poisoned with gasoline. You got Jeffrey Mayer.
On behind this door, I have, God, what is that guy's name? Ursay. I have Ursay behind door number 1 and Mayer behind door number 2.
You see, but I think that we talk about, like, I've sort of talked about sports specifically in this regard, where it's like, it's a real life fairy tale.
Oh yeah,
in a sense, like
it's serious but not serious.
Yeah, I mean, like on a date, if I walked down the streets of Manhattan and I saw Derek Jeter,
you wouldn't kick him in the nuts.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't just be like, "Boo, Jeter, you suck." I would be like, "Oh, hey, Derek Jeter."
Here's a real
but like
question.
as soon as he gets on the field, I'm just like, "Jeter, you asshole."
So, would you get a picture with Derek Jeter if you saw him on the street?
No.
You wouldn't be like, just a little bit like, oh shit, Derek Jeter. If you walked in the store, you wouldn't be like, oh shit, let me get a picture. Really?
No.
Because he's Derek Jeter, or because nobody who came in the store you would do
that? I don't think I'd do it for anybody, really.
I'm trying to think of somebody who's not like an Oiler or a Raven. That should be easy, but Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson comes in.
Yeah.
Great quarterback. Comes in the store.
I'd say, hey.
You wouldn't get a picture?
No.
Oh, I would fanboy the shit out of him.
See, I don't.
He's like 5'6" too.
Yeah.
So I'd take a picture and be like, look how short this dude is.
Let's get it from an angle.
Yeah. No, fuck that. Lower angle. Look how tall I look.
Hey, look at me and Little Russell.
That's the caption if I ever meet him. Hey, look at me and Little Russell. Yeah.
No, I mean, like, I don't know. I guess it goes back to the conversation we had last week about, like, how I could see fame being annoying at a point.
Okay.
Like, if you got to the level of fame where people are, like, around you all the time and you can't do anything.
Right.
Like, if you're at that Kardashian level of fame where there's people... Like, you couldn't just go to, like, McDonald's and get an extra value meal because there would be a million people there going, like, Kim.
Yeah.
You know? Like, you can't do normal people stuff because there's people who are bothering you all the time. I don't want to be one of those people who bother people. Like, there's been plenty of, like, Orioles or Ravens who've come into the restaurant. And I usually just say, like, hey, what's up? Great game. Or, like, big fan. Thanks for coming in. Those types of things. Just, like, nothing.
See, what I would...
Like, once I was working the drive-thru and Todd Heap drove through.
Yeah.
and he placed a larger order, so it took a few minutes to get ready.
Right.
And I chatted with him for a few minutes, but I don't feel like I did anything out of the ordinary.
See, what I would do is I'd be like, "Oh, do you want to get a picture?" And they're like, "Yeah." Then I would just like grab him and stand there, wait for them to get their phone.
Are you going to take this picture?
You don't know who I am?
I thought you'd be excited to meet me.
I'm going to write a book called Narcissist Guide to the Universe. That's going to be chapter 1.
Copyright.
Yes, trademark copyright right there. Narcissist Guide to the Universe.
Implicit copyright. No, but I don't hate anybody. Not to the point where I'd want to kill them.
Right.
And I think there's so many people who are like, well, I mean, and obviously you got to take context into a situation. Like if I saw somebody with a gun pointed at like 15 pregnant women and I had a gun and I was just like, I know that he's just going to kill those 15 pregnant women in a line. I don't know why they're all in a line like that, but I'm just saying hypothetically.
Right.
And I have the choice of letting him do that or killing him. Then yeah, of course, in that situation.
You would shoot at him.
Yeah.
And then you would throw the gun at him. And then you'd run at him because none of those things would have actually hit him. Right?
Not even me.
Not even you.
Yeah.
Sorry, Corey's not a gun guy.
No, but I imagine I could hit him. All you have to do is yell out a very compelling catchphrase when you do it.
Exactly.
Just like,
and then just turn the gun to the side.
Motherfucker.
I have a feeling that would be a lot like Pulp Fiction, where the guy's like, "Really? Really?"
No, but I mean, I don't have that kind of hatred in my heart. So I feel better about myself, I guess. But I mean, like, there's other people who are like, pretty much everybody who said that they're going to vote for Donald Trump is basically one of those people who's just like, I hope they just round up all them Muslims and kill them. Like, you're just like, oh God, not all of them. Like, not even, even if.
Not even going to qualify that at all?
Even if you're putting it at the 5%.
Right.
Like, even if you're going to
extremists?
Yeah.
Nothing?
Even if you're going to just, I don't even, I can't even comprehend such a statement, Yes. And like a guy who grew up in Freehold, New Jersey and is eating tacos in the park is not a danger to you.
Right.
And you shouldn't, the rise of the person who's decided already is, I can't even believe in this day and age,
Yeah.
Like, that's the part that I think sort of gets me the most. Like,
there's
so much... there's that dangerous looking black guy, there's that thug, there's so that Muslim terrorist, there's that, like, every single one of these, or like, everyone makes the argument about like the transgender woman who's going to go into the bathroom and rape your women.
Yeah.
Like,
And I actually, for that one, I did love the pictures of like, is this the bathroom I should be in? And it's, in any other circumstance, I would be like, a woman in a man's bathroom or a man in a woman's bathroom.
Right.
And I'm like, if you didn't know, first of all, they don't give a shit about your law because they're going to use the one where they look like they fit in anyway.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I'm going to be like, hey, lady, what you doing in here?
Yeah. And who the fuck's really like, excuse me, are you really a woman?
Let me see your junk.
Pull that dress up, lady.
But no, it's
like, I've seen, there's many people out there, unfortunate looking people, who just are born women, or born men. Don't look like completely androgynous.
Yeah.
And, you wouldn't say like, excuse me, ma'am, you got to use the men's room. It's just like,
there are people who would though.
Yeah. But I'm saying like,
see, here's the thing. In the age of so much information, I don't know the people who I don't understand the people who are like, snap judgment.
Yeah.
Inform your fucking self. And how can you, if you inform yourself at all, vote for Donald Trump? I mean, that's really what it comes down to. Is like his voters are the snap judgment voters. That and super racist people. I do.
I've always loved the parable in the West Wing, the Isaac and Ishmael episode.
Break it down. Which one?
When they said Muslim extremist is to Muslim as blank is to Christianity.
Yes.
And the example they made was the KKK.
Right.
So, yeah, the KKK is a Christian organization. Does anybody other than people who are in the KKK or extremely racist think that they are Christian?
Right.
Let's not lump up what some people who are using the name Muslim are doing with it.
And you
know?
can do that for every well, maybe not Buddhist, but most religions.
Yeah.
You can lump some groups in that are extremists. They have the same views. Catholics.
Yeah, I mean, there's. I feel like if you go deep enough on any religion, you're going to find an extremist which is so far outside of the mainstream that they're no longer the religion.
No. But
like we talk about like during election seasons with Republicans in name only or Democrats in name only.
Yeah,
these are Muslims in name only.
Yes,
they're purely just because you were born to two Muslim parents doesn't necessarily mean that all the beliefs that you have of death to America are Muslim.
Well, you're Catholic,
right?
There's examples on both sides of the spectrum. So there are center of the road Catholics, and then there are, not to talk that bad about your brethren, but there are IRA extremist violent Catholics who justify their violence by Catholicism, purifying Ireland of the evil Protestant English.
Yeah,
and then there are on the other end of that spectrum. When's the last time you went to Mass? There are those Catholics. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's a whole spectrum of everything, and every religion has that.
Right,
I'm that for Protestantism.
Yeah, I mean, like I haven't been to Mass in forever, but I don't think that I'm like not a Catholic.
No, you're still a Catholic.
Yeah, and
I still call yourself a Catholic.
I still believe, at least
my dad thinks you're going to hell, and that's okay.
At least enough to justify it to me.
Well, and
I live by the doctrine of be good to people and, try and, don't judge ye and all that sort of stuff.
Faith and good works.
Yeah. Like, it doesn't have to be about how many times I go to church to be a Catholic.
Well, but see, here's the thing. Again,
it's not attendance in class. It's how you perform on the test. And the test is God. When you get to those pearly gates and St. Peter's there with God and he's like, no, he's all right.
So 150 people are dead. In Paris,
at least
100.
Yeah,
I
mean, by the time this podcast posts, between when we did it, it could be 3 times higher. It could be 5 times. You don't know,
and it could be 5 days of violence before this actually posts. But the fact is that if it happens to be Islamic terrorism, it doesn't matter. You could exchange that with Christian terrorism in Africa. You could exchange that with Hindu terrorism in Pakistan or Kashmir. You could exchange that with Christian terrorism in Southeast Asia or any kind of terrorism anywhere. It just happens to be this.
There's,
or how about atheistic terrorism, which is people killing people because they have religion.
I feel like there's 2 levels of strife. And there's sort of a place where we should differentiate ourselves here a little bit. So you sort of talked about like the IRA in England.
Yeah.
Like that's very much about like independence of one side to the other.
Right.
Much like you would, I imagine, even though they're both violent about it. But I was going to say like Israel and Palestine.
Yeah.
Like that is not something that is just like, like, oh, those damn Israelis,
Well,
like it's a lack of acknowledgement that they exist.
Yeah.
And, Israel is, we don't have to get into that whole thing.
Well, no, but
I'm saying
it's the same thing. England and Ireland is
turf
the same
wars.
as it's about ownership of property.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's not like don't take the actions of a select few and translate it into like if we're not talking about those kinds of situations.
Right.
We're not talking about the IRA, if we're not talking about Palestinians, if we're not talking about anything that's a turf war.
Yeah.
And we're talking about religious beliefs that are spreading across. Like, it's not everybody who is Islamic, not everybody who's Muslim is the same. It's not.
Well, listen, I'm not going and blowing up a synagogue in New York because I stand with Palestinians in Gaza.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
What happens there is about statehood. It's about. Do you hear that?
No.
I think I'm going insane. I might be going insane.
What were you hearing?
Like an alarm, but not a car alarm. It sounded. I think I'm going insane. Anyway.
Maybe there was something like light on the TV, because CNN was still on when I walked away.
Anyway, so
I think if it was something serious, Rachel would have busted in here by now, being like, "Podcast's over."
The nuke alarm's going on.
Quickly get underneath this desk.
There's only room for one. I need to save myself. Anyway, but
come on, Leo and Kate Winslet, two can get here.
You've had love in your life. You two can get it the fuck out of here. But no, it's. I don't even remember the point, but we don't blame people everywhere for the problems in one place. That's basically it. That I don't say that religion in one place or in effect one place. I don't kill you because you're Catholic and I'm Protestant, and some Catholics and some Protestants somewhere are killing each other.
Okay, take this for an example. Let's just take something super fucking simple.
Yeah.
Are eggs good for you?
Right.
All right.
Well, what day of the week is it?
If we put out a poll to every American,
yeah,
are eggs good for you? We would get I don't even know what the fucking percentages would, but let's say 70% you say yes, 20% say like only the whites, and then another 10% say like no, absolutely not, under no circumstance, like whatever. You'd have a huge dividing issue of whether or not eggs are good for you.
Right.
We don't, even if it was just that, take that question just specifically.
Eggs.
One call.
Yeah.
Are eggs good for you?
Yeah.
Nothing drilling down, is it good for your cholesterol? Is it good for or just in general, are eggs good for you? It's like, well, yeah, eggs are better for you than 9 tacos from Taco Bell.
Wait. That depends how you define good for you, because if it's taste.
Yeah, I mean, that could be.
A quesarito is delicious.
But I mean, is it good for you is it healthy? Is it delicious? Is it, whatever. People are going to take that one statement and blow it in 19 different ways.
Yeah.
And you're going to have a weird, and whether or not eggs are actually good for you, it doesn't even matter at this point, because everyone has made up their mind. Everyone's conflicted about it. And
everybody's butthurt over every fucking thing.
Yeah.
Thank you, Facebook. We're all butthurt over Starbucks.
Oh my god!
Taking their fucking. By the way, not taking Christmas off the fucking cup. Taking snowflakes off the cup. Last year they had snowflakes. Now they don't. How does Jesus give a shit about snowflakes?
By the way, Jesus was born in the summer.
And fucking yes.
Just so you fucking know,
I can't, and everything in their store still says Merry Christmas, and they don't give a shit.
He's born in the summer. The 3 wise men were chasing a comet.
No, they weren't. They were chasing a confluence of Venus and Saturn, and when they met over Orion, the Betelgeuse and Orion.
Yeah.
So, anyway, not important. Here's the thing. They also didn't get there till he was 2 years old. They weren't there at the fucking nativity. It doesn't fucking matter.
Also...
Jesus Christ.
Also... pretty much every single, in the best case scenario, the story, the most recent story that you read in the Bible from the time that it happened,
yeah,
in reality, to the time that it was described and written on paper was probably 4 generations, and it was exchanged between 90 some people.
Old Testament, yes. New Testament, no. Not nothing.
And then the language and the versions of the Bible changed.
That I will. You mean
4 dozen times? Since,
you mean what I'm actually reading? Yes.
Yeah.
But no, Paul wrote down his letters. His letters are actually in the Bible. But then somebody translated it from Aramaic to Hebrew, and from Hebrew to Greek, and from Greek
just
to
changed
Latin,
things, and then
we don't have a word for this. Close enough.
Yeah.
And King James was like, I don't like that message. Let's change that a little
bit.
And let's make a whatever. Yeah. It's all fucking bullshit. And by the way, for the
most
part...
Listen, I'm not even going to go that far. I'm not saying it's bullshit.
It is bullshit.
It's... If you know what? If religion helps you, if it's something that... If you need religion in your life to be a good person to people, or to find some sort of closure in the fact that, like, you know, like, we're all going to die someday and where do we go and everything like that, then great.
Yeah.
Like, I'm glad. You know, like, some people still, like, snuggle up with things at the end of the night, like have teddy bears and stuff like that to make them feel better.
Right.
More power to you. You know, if you think that this is some sort of, like, true calling to the nature of the universe, like, the world is beautiful because God made it so.
Right.
Fine. Great. If, you know, you're using it because it's a connection to your past and, you know, like, whatever your reason for religion is, let us not confuse it with, like, Starbucks made a red cup and now we're going to fucking flip out about it. Or let's not make it about, how about we kill 150 fucking innocent people in Paris?
Yeah.
Like,
here, first of all, I just want to make interruption. Donald Trump apparently said, how stupid are Iowans? So, you heard it here first. That campaign's probably over.
Or it's just going to get bigger.
Or that's true, it could just get bigger.
Or America rallies around like, yeah, fuck Iowa.
Let's kick that out of the union.
There's just going to be a big hole in the middle of the country where Iowa used to be.
But anyway, much like the teddy bear that an adult sleeps with, I find religion to be mostly a crutch, especially organized religion. I have my own relationship with the universe, and that's fine, but I don't judge people for it. But in the end, this kind of terrorism, though, is excused by religion. It has nothing to do with religion. It's about politics, and it's excused by religion.
There's a difference. I mean, if your grandmother says, like, Jesus wants to see you smile, then you'll be like, yeah, okay, I'll smile for you. Like, you know, you're not going to take that issue and be like, yeah, fuck Jesus. Like, you know, you're not going to, like...
Let me ask you this.
There's moments where somebody who is a real, common, decent person...
Yeah.
And has real religious beliefs and is using it for good.
Okay. Using it
to find peace in their life. To make the world a better place. Is not caught up with the dogma or they take what they want from it. They believe what they feel is right. You know? They don't, like, yes, Noah's 600 years old, whatever. Like, you know, it's not, they're good, honest, decent people who believe in something. They are fine. You don't, if they say something to you, you don't go like, you know, like, no, fuck you, I'm not going to have a Merry Christmas, you know? Like,
right.
But if there's the people who, you know, blow up abortion clinics or anything like that, like
that's a great example, because do you think Republicans give a shit about abortion? Republicans in Congress, do the majority of them give a shit about abortion?
I don't think they give a shit about anybody who dies.
No, they don't. Absolutely not. It's about keeping their benefactors wealthy.
I think generally speaking, okay, so here's a huge issue I've always felt, and I think there's no time like now with 150 Parisians dead to say it, but like we hear stories in the news. Man shot in Northeast Baltimore today.
Yeah.
295 murders on the year, 297 on the year, 150 people dead in Paris. You know, terrorism attack takes out a hospital and whatever. You know, you hear these stories.
Oh no, that was U.S. government that took out the hospital. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Well, fine.
Not terrorists. Well, okay. No, you're right. You're right. Go ahead.
So you hear these stories and you go like, "Oh my God, 150 people." Think for 1 second that one of those 150 people is your brother, your girlfriend, or, you know...
I don't have one of those.
Well, you don't have a brother either.
Yeah, I do. I have a brother.
Yeah, not a real brother.
Not a real brother. Yeah, he's like old.
But, you know, Sarah.
Yeah.
Sarah...
Wait, who?
Who? Sarah's over in Paris, taking a trip. And she goes, "Hey, Eagles of Death Metal. Sounds like a great time."
I don't think she would, but yeah.
No, but I'm saying, you know, like, she goes to the club, goes to the concert, and all of a sudden this happens, and now the rest of your life you're thinking about, like, you know, like, God, Sarah was taken out by stupid fucking dumbass terrorism.
Yeah.
And a day doesn't go by where you don't think about what happens.
No, but so...
Or, I mean, there's people...
Wait.
There's people you lose in your life, even if they die of natural causes, where they're with you forever.
But don't
think about them constantly.
Be reactionist, because to the person who says the guy who's voting for Trump, he says, "My sister got killed, stupid terrorist." But I'm not reactionist. You know, who do I blame when my quote unquote my sister gets killed by terrorists in Paris? Who do I blame? Should I blame the terrorist? Maybe. They're the most direct cause.
Yeah.
But, you know, the terrorists are there because of American policies in the Middle East that can be traced back to Obama, to Bush, to Clinton.
But that's not even
Bush,
the point
Reagan.
I'm making necessarily.
No, I'm just saying that it's ignorant of us to say that it's just the terrorists.
No, but I'm saying, so, you know, because you have a personal connection to the story,
right?
You're going to say, like, you know, like, God, you know, I can't, you know, like, my sister who I loved is dead because of this stupid fucking terrorism.
Yeah.
And you're going to carry the scars of that forever.
Right.
Because you loved her and you grew up with her and everything like that. But to most people who are watching CNN tonight, watching MSNBC, Fox News, whatever that case may be, they're seeing 150 people in Paris dead. And they're not even thinking about one of those people is the sister of somebody.
Right. Somebody's sister, somebody's daughter.
Somebody,
yeah.
you know, like, if it was your sister who died,
right,
you would never be able to live that down. You would move on eventually. You would find some sort of peace, but you'd never forget it. You'd think about it all the time. You'd remember the moments that you had with your sister. You'll think about that, you know, every time you pass by a chocolate shop, you'll think about that time that you two went to a chocolate shop when you were a kid. Or, like, you know, whatever the case may be. You'll carry those scars with you forever. But when you hear about 150 anonymous to you people dying, you don't think about the family that they're leaving behind. You don't think about the friends. You don't think about we throw out things like, I'm praying for the people of Paris, or my thoughts are with Paris, or what a horrible tragedy in Paris, but we don't ever really examine what this means to a far bigger audience than just the people
and I've talked
who are directly affected.
I've talked before about the concentric circle hypothesis that says that, you know, we all draw concentric circles around ourselves, and we're in the center, and our family and our friends and strangers and neighbors and blah 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 blah. And, you know, it's the people who change the world are the ones who care just as much about the people on the outside of the outer levels as they do about the ones on the inside. That's really what it comes down to. And yes, most people couldn't. These 150 dead are so far out that they have no relation to them. And I was asked before, like, why is it that you like think like this? And I don't know, but there are people who do think like that. And the problem is not enough people think like that. You need to, when you see this, you need to ask the big questions instead of saying, "Oh, that's tragic," and doing what I did. "Oh, Trump said something dumb," or "Oh, let's look at this." Oh, look over there. But we just don't do that. And I think that we're probably going to talk about this more next week, and we'll have a little more answers next week. And I really want to dive into a little bit more about the causes of all this. But, I mean, this week when you're hearing stories, I think my message for the week is don't just say, Islamic terrorism, let's bomb somebody.
Yeah.
It's more than that. There's somebody's family members who are dead, and there's more socioeconomic issues, and there's more geopolitical issues, and there's a lot going on here, more than just what you see on TV, and especially more than what CNN's showing you. So,
I say, take a minute and just imagine that it was somebody that you knew. And I know that isn't a great thing to think about, but it's, you know, somebody is. Somebody's thinking about one of those 150 who are dead, and they're never going to be able to shake it.
See, but
I feel like the closer we get to being a reasonable society where we think about this, like try and become closer to one than separating and fracturing out,
right,
and dividing ourselves, is the more time that we spend honestly thinking about what it means to lose somebody.
But what you're calling for is the opposite, though. Because if everybody feels like that could be my daughter, then that causes the anger and the bloodlust and the all of that. If everybody, even the people who lost someone, said, "Okay, I lost someone, and that's horrible, but we need to think about this on a bigger scale," that makes us more rational and logical and less emotional.
why don't we want to kill people who litter?
No, because it's an indirect problem.
Right. I mean, like,
but if you throw
but I mean, like,
your garbage on my lawn, I get pissed.
Right.
So if I see somebody throwing litter on your lawn and I think of it like my lawn, I should get pissed?
No, I'm saying...
Because it's an emotional response? No, we should tackle problems logically and with a reason, not with emotion.
We wait until the moments...
Live long and prosper.
God
damn it. This damn chair! Anyway.
We wait for the moments where the body count is so high that it's unavoidable. Where you are able to personally say to yourself, oh, I knew somebody whose brother was in the World Trade Center that day.
Right.
You know, like, oh, I know somebody who was... my uncle was about to get on a flight to LA from New York and he missed his alarm in the morning and then he didn't get on that plane. That's the one that flew into the South Tower. Like, when there's thousands of people who are dead, you try and rationalize it. You try and personalize it in some way.
Right.
But you'll never personalize something that's halfway across the world.
Right.
Do it. Spend a minute. Think about somebody that you love is over there. Somebody you love just died at something stupid.
But I think
that makes
it so emotional, and there's no need to have that kind of emotion attached to it. Personalizing it just makes it emotional.
I think what we need at this time is a little bit of personalization. We need to have these moments where we... Right now, this is just numbers to people. But there are people who are like, you know, going through their news, you know, like flipping through Yahoo or whatever and just going like, oh, 150 people dead. That's a lot of people. Like,
but the father who loses his daughter says, if I see one of those Muslims on the street, I'm going to shoot him in the fucking head. No more immigrants, no more anyone from the Middle East. Let's go over there. Let's bomb all of them. Let's create a desert and call it peace. That's what the father of one of these victims is thinking. And if we all act like that, we're going to end up tearing each other apart.
But you know what? The people who did it are dead.
What, the perpetrators?
Yeah.
But there will be... This is how we get caught into these bloodlust
Yeah, I know, but I'm
situations.
saying the people who did it are dead.
Right.
The people who caused your daughter to die is dead.
Right. So now I want their families to hurt the way that I do. So I'm going to go kill their kids. Then their kids will kill my kids.
You don't think their families hurt too?
No, they made the choice. They made the choice to send their kids. And the religions are so different because we don't understand each other.
I mean, if you had a son who fucking blew up a hospital, you know, you wouldn't go like, yeah, that way to do it, little Rob. You'd be like, Jesus fucking Christ, my kid just blew up a hospital.
Well, it depends. I mean, is he in a struggle? I mean, is he part of the movement?
No.
Okay.
That's not real life. Yeah.
I mean...
But I'm saying...
My kid might be a revolutionary. And it all depends. And see, that's the mentality. Because I can put myself in there and say that if I was part of a movement that was trying to establish my own state, and I was fighting against these Western forces who were coming in and dictating to me what my state was going to look like, and we were taking the fight to them, I would be proud of my kid. I'd be proud of my kid who went and sacrificed his life in order to send a message. And then what happens next? My kid kills someone else, and then their brother comes and kills me, and then my brother goes and kills them, and that's how we get in these 1,000-year-long blood feuds.
Right. And I'm saying, if maybe we took our foot off the gas a little bit.
But we do that by being not emotional, not by saying that could be my daughter. We get it by saying, even if it was my daughter, let's step back and pretend it wasn't. What's the bigger picture here? It's not about individuals lost. It's about bigger pictures. It's about global. It's about countries interfering with each other.
It's not about an eye for an eye.
Right.
We can't do this anymore.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. I've been saying the same thing.
At some point, we have to just fucking stop. We have to realize that death after death is not the answer to the problem.
But picturing that's my daughter that just died does not get me to do that. If I'm picturing it's my kid who was killed in Paris, my sister, my brother, my parents, that 9/11, man, I've never been a militaristic kind of guy. Did you almost sign up for the military after 9/11? I went to meet all 4 recruiting groups. I almost went into the military because I could personalize it. I could say, what if that was one of my family members? I want to go serve.
Yeah.
I want to go kill those fuckers who tried to kill me. And that's what happens when you personalize it. You can't. You have to be more remote. You have to step back and say no.
I just
can't personalize it.
I can't help it.
But that's what gets us caught in these things. Because when you go, if we all personalize it, and let's say your sister, who I'm very fond of, and something happened to her, and I see you're worked up about it, and I get worked up about it, and then that gets both, and I have to, if we both act the same way, that's what, we go do something about it, and we go hurt the person who hurt her, and then both of that guy's friends come and do something to hurt us, and it builds and builds and builds and builds. That's where the emotion, that's because we are getting too emotional.
There's no justice in that.
But we have to just step back and say, this isn't about one person and one person. This is a systematic problem. Why did he do what he did? Crime or poverty?
If we can learn anything from Spider-Man, it's that killing the killer who killed Uncle Ben doesn't make life better.
But that's what I've been saying.
That's what I'm saying too. I'm saying
because you're saying you put yourself in the shoes.
Start thinking about every single person that you hear dying as being somebody that is somehow related to you.
That's going to make you want to hurt someone.
No, because then you're going to think about the person, if we fucking drone strike a fucking nowhere town in the middle of the Middle East.
Oh, and then that guy being your kid too.
Yeah.
Okay, now see, you're talking about Paris.
I'm not just talking about one side of it.
Okay,
I'm saying,
all right.
I'm saying, one of the 150 in Paris is somebody that you love.
Also, the kid who dies in the
You
wedding.
feel horrible about one.
Right.
Imagine how 150 splinters out. Now we retribute that with 1,000 people being carpet bombed to fucking the Middle Ages.
Yeah.
And we don't. At no point during any of this do we think about oh man, it must be really. There's an innocent.
Okay. I'm with you now. I thought you were saying only on one side.
There's a completely innocent kid in Syria who's about to go to school for the first day, and instead he's getting a bomb dropped on him.
Oh yeah, no. France is gonna drop some shit on ISIS in the next 2 weeks, guaranteed. If it proves to be ISIS or suspected to be ISIS, the French people are about to lose their shit, and it is about to go down in Syria.
But we forget we think so much about the 150 on one side, but we don't think about the effect on the other.
I'm with you now. I'm with you now.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
Yes, I'm with you now. My thought was we should all put ourselves in that position, not on both sides.
Right.
So yeah, when we bomb that kid who's going away to school, we should put ourselves as his parents, and then back and forth.
We should deal with the issue, not with the getting retribution one for one.
Right. Well, we could use a little bit of that right here at home.
Yeah.
It's a big enough problem right here in the city of Baltimore.
Well, this is the Baltimore corner where you get the straight dope.
Ooh. As you know, we are your Baltimore podcast, so we like to bring you a little bit of Baltimore news every week.
Yeah. So we had a story in the Sun. I didn't pull it up on my phone. Shit. But
that's all right.
Basically, it was a story. Published this past Friday.
Of retribution, if you will.
Where they talk about the two friends who were with Freddie Gray the morning he was...
Not the morning he died, the morning he was arrested and injured.
Apprehended.
Yes. The morning he was savagely beaten and eventually succumbed to his wounds.
Well, the trial's still out, so...
You'll hear me complain on this podcast and basically everywhere. Just walk up to me in the street and I'll probably be complaining about it. About the blue line and about the way that they go about protecting each other. And Cory's pulling up the story now. But essentially the gist of the story is exactly that. That now we have 6 members of the Baltimore Police Department on trial. And they are closing ranks. And how is it that they're closing ranks there?
Well... So, 2 friends of Freddie Gray, Devontae, Rory, and Brandon Ross. You can read this whole story on the show notes.
Yeah.
At otheanthem.com. They tell a story about growing up in the poor, horrible Gilmore homes in Sandtown, Winchester.
Right.
And, you know, going to breakfast and finding out the breakfast spot is closed and running home, which is, if you've never been to West Baltimore, something that people just fucking do all the time is just run.
Yeah.
There doesn't seem to be anything coming.
And as I explained,
but people run.
As an overweight, white, middle-class man, I find no need to run unless I've strapped on my shoes and gone to the gym.
Well,
when you're young and in shape, sometimes you just run to run.
And make sure golden crown fall off.
Right. Right. But when you're young, you just run to run.
Yeah.
You got nothing else to do. And you got places to go. Forrest Gump, man. You just run. Yeah, you don't have... I had a car.
I think I'm done.
I had a car. I drove places. You don't have a car. You just run.
Yeah.
Where are we going? All right. Let's go.
Anywho, there was a newly released video footage showing Devontae Rory,
right,
running right where, you know, Freddie Gray was running at the time. Only the difference is that they didn't catch Rory; they caught Freddie Gray.
Yeah,
and yada yada yada, Freddie Gray's dead.
That is the worst yada 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 ever.
Well,
my god,
there's a trial going on. I think that
it'll solve the yada yada part.
That'll all sort out the middle part.
Sure.
The kind of shocking part of the story, or the part that I feel like is the part for deeper introspection, is that there were claims that the police were trying to discredit the two friends that were with Freddie Gray the morning of.
What? That
to
doesn't
make them
sound
to
like...
make them less reliable witnesses.
The Baltimore police interfering with an investigation? That does not sound like the Baltimore police I know.
Well, apparently, Rory was... I don't know if I'm getting these names confused. Please forgive me. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to do a lot of this off memory. Yeah. Rory got in a fight with his girlfriend, took a phone, and went back home. This happened March 10th, I wanted to say. Police knock on the door. Mother lets him in. And then, according to the mother, they sit around for 6 hours while they wait for the warrant to come in.
Right.
And then take a cell phone, not the cell phone.
A cell phone.
Yeah, and arrest him for it.
And when did Freddie Gray's incident occur?
The 12th? April 12th?
Okay. Yeah.
So a couple days later.
Right.
And the other one was picked up on a parole violation for a dirt bike related traffic violation.
Well, that sounds dangerous and unique in the city.
Well, no, it happens all the time.
Oh,
There's
okay.
thousands of dirt bikers all over the place. Well, maybe not thousands, hundreds for sure.
It's not like they travel in packs or anything. These are single isolated.
Have you seen
incidents.
the movie 12 O'Clock Boys?
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's in Baltimore?
Yeah.
You mean there is a large roving gangs of, I don't want to call them gangs.
Yeah.
Groups of young men on unregistered dirt bikes in the city?
Mm-hmm.
And they picked up this one?
Yeah.
Well, that sounds like it has nothing to do with the fact that he was a key witness in an investigation that involves police officers.
I don't know. All I know is... Oh, excuse me.
I rest my case. Witness intimidation.
Clearly.
I rest my case.
We were talking about it before we started the podcast. Like, this is not... The part of this trial that's important.
Yeah.
The part of the trial that's important is not... I mean, obviously, for the sake of the people fighting in the trial, the officers trying to defend themselves, Marilyn Mosby trying to put them away,
Yeah.
the family of Freddie Gray trying to get
Is there lightning?
justice. No, that was my... the family of Freddie Gray trying to get justice.
Yeah.
Clearly, this isolated incident is what is important at the moment.
Right.
But for the broader sense of it, I think the issue that we need to keep important is there's so much shadiness that's going on.
Yeah.
And, Rob is a much more vocal critic of the police department than I am.
What?
Of the two of us, he's more likely to have an unkind word to say about the police.
That doesn't sound like me founding the future.us.
But I think that we should just be... The first step to solving a problem is admitting that there is one. So let us take this opportunity to admit that there is something wrong and we need to fix it. There is something wrong with the police department that needs to be corrected. Nobody, if you asked any police commissioner in the country,
yeah,
not a single one of them would say like, "Oh yeah, absolutely perfect department. Not one thing I'd change." You know?
Yeah.
You would get a fairly canned answer of like, well, obviously there's things that we can improve upon, and we work and strive every day to complete the things that'll make us a more efficient police department in the future.
Actually, the one police commissioner did actually announce that he thinks that they have nearly a perfect department.
Who's that?
Ventura County, California. They're in year 4 or 5 of their body camera program. And the incidents of police brutality complaints are down to like 1% of where they were 5 years ago. There's been nearly no complaints. There's been nearly no incidents. Police shootings are at a minimum because there's accountability.
There's an issue beyond body cameras, though.
Well, no, and it goes
That's
beyond
at play
that.
here.
But the problem is,
it's like I was talking about.
Wait. In 5 years, though, they've cleared out the department. Bad cops have gotten fired because the body cameras have helped get rid of the bad cops. So it's not the body cameras, it's you get the bad cops out of the department, you leave the good cops, now we have a good police force.
Well, I think that's a very quick way of sort of saying violence is what makes a bad cop a bad cop.
Okay.
I also painted the example of if all of a sudden there was a knock at my door and it was a police officer,
yeah,
and they said, let me in. And I said, warrant, please. They said, I don't have a warrant. Let me in. I said, well, go fuck yourself. And they just came in. And I said, leave. They said, I'm not fucking leaving. I don't have time to call the ACLU. Right. I don't have time to call my lawyer and get him down here to witness all this.
Right.
Like, these are, if somebody... And the problem is, I have at least more than most people a decent understanding of my rights.
Yeah.
I'm not a lawyer, but I've been raised by enough lawyers to know, a vague semblance of what my rights are and what they aren't.
Here's the thing, though. It doesn't matter.
The vast majority of people don't.
But it doesn't matter, though. Because the police will tell you, the policy of the police, Fraternal Order of Police of America is, it doesn't matter what your rights are. Comply. In the moment, comply, and the courts will sort it out later. Fucking what? When they kick down your door, sit there and comply, don't do anything that'll get you shot, and then the courts will sort it out. If it's illegal, the courts will sort it out.
But there's...
The fucking what?
There was a... Did you see the Austin police jaywalking video?
Oh, yeah.
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 I think there's plenty of argument to be made that they were compliant at the time.
Yeah.
They were on the ground. They had their hands behind their back. There wasn't much more they could do.
And what did it get them?
It got them beat the shit out of them.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, there is a... Whether or not I'm sure the police are going to come back with their side.
Oh, of course.
Like, it's not witness intimidation... Or not witness intimidate. We're not trying to sully up witnesses.
Back to the Baltimore.
We're not. Yeah, we're not trying to make this. We're not trying to make these two felons look worse by arresting them right before the trial.
Right.
These are actual things that this would arrest anybody. It just so happens that these two who have felony convictions before got arrested again, which is a huge shock to nobody.
Right.
But. What I'm saying is the fact that there is a reasonable argument on the other side has to at least make you worry that there is a problem deeper than that, you know?
Yeah.
The fact that I can read a story about somebody arguing that this is trying to sully up a potential witness prior to a highly publicized court case makes me go, yeah, there's a decent shot that that's real.
And what was your first? Reaction?
I could say that my belief is 50-50.
Right.
There's a 50% of me that could believe that, you know, the police are just arresting people who are criminals and have criminal records and, you know, will commit crimes because they're criminals.
Right.
And there's also the part of me, the other 50% that believes that, you know, well, maybe the police department are trying to sully people up.
And what was your first reaction to the story?
It was a lot of...
No, first reaction, you saw it. What did you think?
I said, that's not good for the police.
Because they're sullying up the witnesses.
Yeah.
And God, episode must be in the 50s. Oh, no, God, earlier, 40s, 30s maybe. There was a story about an NYPD officer who kicked a pregnant woman and slammed her onto a train platform, and then came out later wasn't true. Completely made up. And our comment about it was not that it was true, it was that people were blowing up about it. And our whole point was 15 years ago, people would have been like, bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit. But in today's society, first reaction was, oh no, I can see that happening. And your first reaction when reading that story isn't, oh, well, you know, they're policing. That's what their job is. It's, are they trying to sully up these witnesses before trial? And even if you are split 50-50, your first reaction is they're trying to make their make trial go a little better for their buddies. And that is the fucking country we live in.
It's not... my reaction wasn't that they're trying to. It's that this isn't going to be good.
Right.
This is not going to... You know what it's like? I've been watching a lot of Kitchen Nightmares. It's the there's an aspect of the police department today, more or less the union, and the people who just sort of stand by the union blindly. Because believe me, I've had plenty of conversations with many a police officer who says, you know, like, yeah, obviously I have to be with the union, but you know, between me and you, these fucking guys are crazy.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I don't agree with how they're doing this kind of thing, but I'm saying, so let's go back to the Kitchen Nightmare parable.
Yeah.
There's the restaurant owners who, you know, Chef Ramsay comes in and he picks 4 or 5 things off the menu. And they're like, yeah, he's going to love our food. Everybody loves our food.
Right.
And then you put down a lasagna that looks like cat puke in front of Gordon Ramsay.
What are you expecting?
And then he eats it, and he's just like, was this frozen? It's cold in the middle. And then he's like, send it back. Tell the chef it's horrible. And then they go back, and, you know, it's just like, he didn't like the lasagna? And it's like, he said it was horrible. And then it was cold in the middle. And did you microwave it? And, you know, like, it looks like cat puke, and blah, 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 blah. And then the chef's first reaction is like, yeah, that guy doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Like,
it's fucking Gordon Ramsay.
The 5-star Michelin rated chef who has restaurants all across the country, all across the world.
Yeah.
Some of the most well publicized and well reviewed restaurants in the world. And he's the one who doesn't know.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't know what food's like down here in New Orleans. Like,
right.
Like, if you get one critique from somebody who's like, you know, the food's terrible, and everybody else seems to like it,
fuck that guy.
That one person, you're just like, you know what, it's probably not his thing.
Yeah.
If you get 2 critiques, it's still a little bit like, we'll see. I'll think about it, but I don't really think, you know, because obviously the overwhelming preponderance of evidence is that people like it.
Right.
So let's not change what we're doing too much. If 1,000 people say it's terrible, maybe at this point you're not at the level where you can go like,
Michelin.
Oh, those people are fucking wrong.
Yeah.
I know exactly my food is great.
Yeah.
I eat it every day. Like, you know, maybe if there's 1 or 2 people who are complaining that the that the union is driving this thing a little bit too crazy, then you can go like, all right, well, 2 people's opinions, what the fuck do we care? If there's many people who believe this, a huge percentage of people who believe this, then maybe you should start thinking about that a little bit more.
Yeah.
So,
well, and I'm going to give a little preview if you don't mind, but this is the America that we live in, and it's an America where the police don't like their union, where a growing number of police don't like their union, where the police sully witnesses in a trial that's going to be big on witnesses, and in an America where a judge tells a defendant, I would have given you the benefit of the doubt on the evidence where there shouldn't be a benefit of the doubt. There should be reasonable doubt or not, beyond a reasonable doubt or not, and gives a woman 20 days in jail because while questioning another witness, she recorded the police officer, and the judge tells her, if you had been compliant, I would have given you the benefit of the doubt. And you can find more about that on foundingthefuture.us. But that's the country we live in.
Yeah.
And yes, I'm more outspoken about the police. And I will continue to be outspoken about the police, because fuck that shit. And someday, my young son, my army of sons, will rise up. Will rise up.
Yeah. Something tells you that statement's not going to bite you in the ass one day.
Now, someday when I announce my bar name, like I said, in states all across this nation, there are women, hopefully who aren't listening to this podcast now, who are like, it's State versus Daniel McAllister, child support. I don't understand. He gave me the name in the bar. I know his name's Daniel McAllister. I know it. Gotcha, bitch. Anyway.
The one last quick thing before we wrap this whole fun-filled show of laughs. Yeah. I wanted to bring it up to something a little bit more pleasant. Sports ball.
Yay.
Obviously, as discerned by the Open, which happened many moons ago.
Yeah.
Matt Wieters accepted his qualifying offer.
Right.
There's 3 people in the majors who accepted their qualifying offer, which is the first time it's ever happened before.
Right.
And
usually
basically,
it's 1 or none, right?
No, 0.
It's
Nobody
never?
ever in the history of baseball has accepted it. 3 people this year
Really?
did. Yeah.
I thought that there had been people who had done that before.
Mm-mm.
Wow. Okay.
Well, see, the idea behind the qualifying offer is that it's, I can't remember the number, but it's the average of the top 50 or 100 players or something like that.
But
so they take the salary that the average of the top 50 or 100 players in the majors get.
Yeah, but I mean, that's pretty sizable now.
Offer a 1-year contract.
Right.
So this year it was like $15.9 million.
Yeah, but Alex Rodriguez bringing that level up now.
Right.
With his quarter of a billion.
But I'm saying, like, for the reason why you would never offer it to a player who would gladly accept it was because, you don't want to pay, I don't know, pick Ryan Flaherty. You don't want to offer Ryan Flaherty a $15.9 million contract out of the off chance that he declines it and you get a draft pick back.
Right, yeah.
Like, you only want to give it to somebody who you either know isn't going to accept it or you're okay with accepting it if they do.
Right.
So that's basically what happened with Wieters. Like, there was a chance that he'd go out there and get a, 5-year contract for $100 million. And
slight chance.
And then he would say, no, fuck your $15 million a year offer.
Yeah.
Chris Davis. Chris Davis is going to make more than $15.8 million next season.
You would think.
In whatever contract he signs. So he's not going to sign the 1-year $15.8.
Whatever team he ends up signing for, that's not the Orioles.
See, I don't know.
Duquette's not going to pay him. He's not going to pay him.
See, I think I know this is a big if it stays reasonable,
right?
I think Duquette will do it.
Duquette's not going to pay him.
See,
you heard it here first. I'm calling it. Duquette's not going to pay him.
See, I would say if the contract ends up at 7 years, $150 million,
he's not giving him 7 years,
which is $21 million a year.
Do you think Dan Duquette is giving him 7 years from now? What is he, 34, 35 years old?
He's 29 years old.
Fuck, that's been a rough 29 years. No, he's still not giving him 7 years.
I give him 7 years.
No way.
That's the cost of doing business these days. If you want to keep somebody like that, you're gonna have to pay him for a couple schlub years.
He's not, and Dan Duquette doesn't do that.
No,
he's not going to do it.
Dan
Duquette wants to be in Toronto right now. Okay, he's pissed he's not going to be in Toronto.
7 years, $150 million. I pull the trigger on that every day.
Okay,
but I'm saying if all of a sudden we see a breaking news on our phones and it's just like Chris Davis signed with the Mariners, and you're just like, oh shit. And then you hear that it's like 10 years, $200 million. You're just like, all right, yeah, I'm not paying that.
But that's less money overall.
Well, it's more money overall.
Well, more money overall,
because it's
less
guaranteed.
money per year.
Yeah.
Oh, all guaranteed.
Yeah.
Well,
because every single Major League Baseball contract is guaranteed.
Oh, see, shit. This is the shit.
So, but even so say
is it all guaranteed?
10 years, $220 million.
Wait, so every bit of an MLB contract's guaranteed?
Unless you retire.
Oh, so as long as you show up. Oh, so that's why those fat-ass players still show up.
Yeah.
Come up to, yeah, I'm a little out of shape.
Yeah.
Fuck it. You'll pay me.
Or it was the Albert Bell thing.
Like, right, yeah. That burned us a couple years ago.
Right.
Oh, fucker.
Or we can, like the Yankees pay Alex Rodriguez because they could either pay him to play and try.
Right. Yeah.
Like, the beginning of the season when they didn't know whether or not he was going to be able to do it anymore.
Right.
They're like, if we're going to have to pay him regardless, the entire amount, let's at least see if we have anything here.
Right.
And then he turned out to be all right.
Sure. Well, he turned out to be okay for Alex Rodriguez.
First half of the season, he looked like Alex Rodriguez, or at least what you would imagine a 40-year-old Alex Rodriguez would look like.
Scott Boras represents Alex Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Right? How much is he just like, oh, God, that was good. $250 million over 10 years. This is good work.
You know who the agent for Chris Davis is?
Scott Boras.
Scott Boras.
I know. He's everybody's fucking
You know who the agent for Matt Wieters is?
Scott Boras.
Scott Boras.
You know who
Wei Yin Chen.
Scott Boras.
Scott Boras.
You know who I want to work for?
Scott Boras.
Fuck yes, Scott Boras. If you're listening to this, I want to come work for you.
If you're listening to this, I'm a lawyer.
I am a lawyer. I'll be auditing the entertainment law, possibly the sports law section at University of Baltimore this spring. So, give me a call.
Ooh, ooh. Anywho, real quick thing, because this sort of thing kind of bums me too. Andrelton Simmons got traded today. He is a shortstop who played for the Atlanta Braves. Now will play for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Mm-hmm. He's probably the best defensive player in baseball.
Okay.
Decent bat, but not. The defense is the starring role there.
Okay.
Under team control for another 5 years, and he got traded for their top 2 pitching prospects.
Okay.
Now, apparently they had made an offer to the Mets had called up to ask what the price was, and they said they need one of the 4 ace pitchers that they have. Okay. So they wanted Harvey or Syndergaard or Matz or DeGrom.
Yeah.
For Andrelton Simmons, and they said no.
And then
we're okay without a shortstop. We'd rather play one down.
But then they trade him for 2 pitching prospects.
Yeah, but the best 2 pitching prospects for the Angels,
okay,
who are apparently very good pitching prospects. But I'm saying, I wonder. Sometimes I hear about deals like this, and even though we don't need Andrelton Simmons because we have J.J. Hardy, and as soon as he's not playing shortstop anymore, we have Manny Machado.
Right.
But sometimes I hear about deals like this, and I'm just like, why didn't we get involved in that?
Okay.
I feel like we could have had a piece that could have, because there's a trade you hear, especially in the NFL. I hear about trades all the time where it's just like, God, what was his name? Jared Allen traded to the Panthers, and I'm just like, all right, well, Jared Allen's a little old, but he's still a decent, productive player. I'm sure.
Steve Smith coming to the Ravens.
I'd love to have him on the Ravens, and it's just like Jared Allen traded for 7th round draft pick, and you're just like, what the fuck? Or like Brandon Marshall was traded for like a 5th round draft pick. I'm just like, I would have given up a 4th.
Well, because people don't think because they're not out, right? They're not on a trading block somewhere. It's not like somebody's like, I'll give you a 7th, I'll give you a 6th. It's done in secret, so you don't know. And if you would be like, listen, I'm thinking about offering him a 4th-round draft pick for Brandon Marshall. Are you fucking stupid? That's going to insult him. And then, yeah, right. That'll insult him. They gave him a 5th round.
By the way, did you get any interesting trades in the Posse League this week?
No, I didn't. I have not even opened up the app in 2 weeks. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Maybe you want to check that on air.
Why is that?
I think you might have received some trade offers.
Okay, let's look. So this is where we're at. I have not opened this app in 2 weeks because I have a real life. Oh God! And Smack Talk has apparently gone insanely crazy. And I'm very far behind. I did get a reminder that it is the trade deadline now. Pending
from
transactions.
The glorious commissioner.
All right, so who am I looking at trades proposed to me? Oh, here's one from Legend CB5. Adding Jay Brown from the Giants, trading away Eddie Lacy. I'll sit on that one.
Okay.
I'm not going to say yes or no right now, especially not on the air. I'm going to say no. And another kicker, Denver's kicker for Eddie Lacy. Here's the thing. Either of them would probably put up better points than Eddie Lacy. So let's see what Soitun Pertador. Did you get everybody to fucking do it? You're the worst person in the world.
We were watching the games at Rob Clark's.
Yeah.
And it was me and Rachel and JR and Maggie and Rob, and we all decided, like, I was talking about how I was talking to you about Eddie Lacy trades.
Oh, yeah, and I said he's going to come back.
Going like, maybe I can make a decent trade that he'll be able to. I'll buy low, and maybe I'll get some lightning in a bottle. And he's just like, nope, took him in the first round price. You want Lazy? It's gonna take you Megatron and Andrew Luck.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, nah.
He's gonna come back. He's gonna come back. He's gonna put up 9 points for me.
Do you know he's benched, right?
No,
or he's not starting this week.
He's questionable.
He's starting. He's not starting. James Starks is a starter now.
It's questionable.
Just saying, you could get a sweet kicker.
Anybody want to trade for Eddie Lacy? Anything other than a kicker?
I'm just saying that Vincent Jackson was offered. Anywho.
Yeah. All right. Well, yay. So,
if you want to hear more about the awful trades that we submitted to Rob, otheanthem.com, Cory at otheanthem.com, otheanthem on Facebook, Mobby Nominated Twitter, Mobby Nominated Instagram, and the listener line, 443-219-7595.
What's that number again?
443-219-7595.
And you can find me on all your social networks at Robert N. Cheek. Make sure you check out robertncheek.com, where you can find links to my political blog, to my news website, to everything that you can find from me, including links to my books on Amazon. And they are right over here. Please make sure you enjoy those.
Buy Rob's books.
Thank you. Make sure you check out DirtyShoreUnderground.com for the Dirty Shore Underground podcast. We get new episodes of that podcast every Thursday with bonus episodes. We're right now doing reviews of The Walking Dead, so make sure you catch up on those.
Which I've been enjoying.
Yeah, very nice. And make sure you do check out foundingthefuture.us. You can find a link to that on robertncheek.com. I've been started my first week this week of doing a 5 minutes of freedom. This week was a little bit of education on Veterans Day. So if you want to learn a little bit more about Veterans Day, a little call to action, check that out. I don't know if you had a chance to see that on Facebook. You should check it out.
Will do.
It's very interesting. But make sure you check out all those places. So,
well, I think we've done good here today.
We did something. I don't know if it's good. All right. Well, so as always, you've been.
I always feel so deflated when you're just like.
There are some days I agree with you, but I play devil's advocate. But today at some point I said, I hope my son blows something up somewhere as part of the movement. So I'm not really sure that it's good.
Nah.
Anyway, you've been listening to the Oh the Anthem podcast.
Mobby nominated.
The Mobby nominated Oh the Anthem podcast. Part of the Oh the Anthem digital network. For Cory, this is Rob. Have a great week, everybody. Thoughts and prayers in Paris.
Yeah, prayers for Paris.